Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building something a bit different. I don't think I've ever built anything like this before, but yeah, anyways, it's a cliffside house. I don't really know why I built this. I kind of just got a whim to build a cliffside house, and this is how it turned out. It's supposed to be a tiny home. It doesn't really end up being that tiny. I mean, it's fairly small considering it's like a loft bedroom, and then there's a bathroom that's relatively small and like a little laundry area. So I mean, it's a smaller home, but I don't know if it qualifies as a tiny home. Originally, my plan was to have this be for the Sims Tiny Living contest that SimGrewFrost is holding. If you guys haven't heard about it, it's actually going to be due tomorrow, the 13th. That's the end of the contest. If you can hear any noise, my cat is actually laying behind my my keyboard, and I don't want to make him move. I feel so bad. He hasn't been feeling well. He had to get his mouth cleaned, and he's been obsessed with my desk ever since. So, you know, he's just gonna have to stay there. So sorry if you can hear his tail flicking around. But yeah, originally I was going to have this be for that contest, and like I said, it's held by SimGrewFrost. I will link his tweet in the description in case you guys want to participate. Mine doesn't qualify because I built it on too big of a lot. I thought that, I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, I should have read the rules before I went into my game, but I was just like, I'm going to build a cliff house. And where do I build it? Granite Falls, on the biggest lot in that world. That's what I'm going to do. But it does have to be on a 20 by 15 lot. So there's a few of them in Newcrest, Willow Creek, and maybe a couple of them in some other worlds. But the rules are you have to build a tiny yet functional house. It has to be able to fulfill the needs of the Sim living there, and he said it should be for a single Sim household. And there's also a link on his Twitter to the official rules, because you have to be 18 or older to participate, and it says that you'll be judged on the originality of the layout, complexity of the design, uniqueness of the lot, and they will pick 10 winners, showcasing them in a live stream. So that's really exciting. So if you guys do want to participate, I will have those linked in the description. I might still try to participate and build something smaller and on a smaller lot. But anyways, even though this didn't really work out for me for the contest, I still really like this house. I think it's really cool, and I mean, like, the views are beautiful of the waterfall in the distance, and it's just so like remote and kind of like romantic. I feel like you could go here for like a honeymoon or like a retreat or something, or even if you just had like a Sim who was maybe like an artist or like a writer or something, and they just wanted to be close to nature and have it be more like serene and quiet. And I don't know, I really like it. I love the idea of staying somewhere like this, not really living somewhere like this because I get bored. I grew up in the country, and being in the middle of nowhere for a very long time doesn't appeal to me too much because I get bored. But I do really like the idea of staying somewhere like this for like a vacation, and I really love the interior. I went for a lot of neutral colors, a lot of browns, and sorry if the camera does jump around quite a bit. I tried to slow it down during the building process because it was a bit crazy while I was building, because I think the mountain behind it was shooting the camera up in the air, and I kind of struggled with it. I mean, I feel like I always have camera troubles. I'm not the best at controlling the camera in game, but yeah, I think I made it work, and hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. Here I was going to use this coffee table as a fireplace. I like the idea of it, and I've seen some people do some really interesting things with like the fire pits and, you know, various items that we have in game instead of using the fireplaces that we actually have. And then I end up just using a regular fireplace because I think that coffee table is lit no, it's probably not. I don't know. I was thinking it's lit all of the time, but it's probably not. You could probably turn it off. I don't know. It just, you know, it really wasn't working for me. I'm going to have to play around with that idea a little bit more because I like the concept of having different fireplaces, and I feel like we need a variety. There's so many things in the game my cat just flicked a water bottle. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear it. I know it's so annoying when you can hear noise in the background, but I just feel so bad because he had this infection in his mouth, so he had to get his teeth cleaned, and he had to go under, obviously, because I don't think they could really clean a cat's mouth if they weren't put under, and he has to take antibiotics to clear out his infection or at least help get the rest of it. And he's just been obsessed with my desk ever since. It's only been like a few days, but I feel bad making him move, but hopefully it's not too big of a problem. I think it's not so loud, but you know. Anyways, what was I talking about? Fireplaces. Yeah, I would really like the idea of like having different fireplaces and different varieties of things that we already have in game, because we do get a lot of the same objects, like similar beds. Oh my goodness. Okay, what am I talking about? I need to be talking about the tiny living pack, because speaking of different beds, we are getting a Murphy bed, and I am really excited about it. It kind of goes along with what I was talking about, how just having the same objects that we do have, but just changing them up a little bit, like getting a new type of bed or a fireplace, maybe getting a different type of fireplace, or I'm forgetting examples at the moment because I got distracted with the tiny living stuff, because I haven't mentioned it at all. I've been so distracted with like doing my save file stuff. I did release a video all about my starter houses. If you guys have not checked that out, it's a bit long, so I don't blame you if you really don't want to watch the whole thing, but I do go through and show you each of the starter houses in my save file. I am currently going through each of the houses to make sure that they're functional, because I do playtest my builds before I release them, but sometimes I miss a few things, so I'm going through and checking my builds and making sure that everything is the way I want it to be, and then I will populate my world with them and the Sims, and then I will release that probably within like the next week and a half. It depends on how long it takes me to go through each of the houses. I mean, most of them are pretty good, I think, but I do just want to make sure, because I don't want to release something that's not functional. I would feel awful if you guys were like, yeah, it's great, but your houses don't work. I think that would be a disaster. But yeah, the tiny living stuff pack. I am so excited. I was not expecting it. I think it's a really cool idea. I love the Murphy bed idea. I love the concept of being restricted by how many numbers of tiles we can use, because there's different like tiers. I think the highest tier is 100 tiles. I should have counted the tiles in this build. Maybe I will, just out of curiosity, because I'm not really sure how much 100 tiles, like what that looks like in game and how big of a house that actually is. I think that's kind of big for like a tiny house, but depending on the size and like the number of squares, it depends on, I think, the price of the lot. Like you get like cheaper bills and like benefits like that for living like kind of in a smaller footprint. So I think the concept is awesome. I'm very excited about the furniture. I love the like more mid-century style with the furniture, because I really like the stuff that we got with bowling. I like the stuff, at least the mid-century stuff that we got with Get Famous. And so I am definitely excited to have some more, because I really want to do more mid-century style builds. I have some ideas for some community lots in Oasis Springs, because I am slacking big time when it comes to that world for community lots, and I've actually been trying and struggling. So maybe once we get that pack, I'll get like a burst of inspiration and be able to come up with something that I'm like liking, because I've just not had much success lately. But I did start building something else in Oasis Springs, and this is very exciting because I'm finally, wait for it, I am finally building the Land Grabs mansion, and I am thrilled. I'm so excited. It is something I've obviously wanted to build since I've started working on my save file, and probably even before that, because their mansion is just awful and it needs to be fixed. And I debated with myself whether or not I wanted to renovate it or if I wanted to build something completely from scratch. And so I'm building something from scratch, and it's in a similar sort of theme to the house across the street. If you guys remember that one, it's a modern house that I built for a single guy who I thought was, what was his job? I forget exactly. He's just a successful younger guy, you know, but he lives across the street, and I really liked his house. Looking back now, though, I'm not so thrilled about his landscaping. I might fix it, because now that I'm working on the Land Grabs mansion, I'm liking their landscaping more. I think it suits the the area a little bit better. It looks more like, because I mean, it's a desert area, but there's little bits of like greenery and some lushness, and I want to make the houses look like they're really well taken care of, like they spend a lot of money on landscapers and gardeners, and so I feel like what I'm doing with them makes more sense to the idea that I had. I mean, the other house is okay too, but that'll make more sense when I go into that video, because I'm not even talking about this one at all. Hopefully you guys are liking it, but yeah, the Landgrabs mansion is humongous and I'm really loving it. It's very modern. I don't build modern a whole lot. I know this build is kind of modern, but it's definitely not something I am super comfortable with, but I am loving it so far. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to it, but I needed to take a break from it because it's so ginormous. So I built this, and then it ended up not really working for the contest. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal because I really wasn't wanting to do it to win the contest or to be featured or anything. I just wanted to participate and kind of let you guys know what it was about. So hopefully you guys do have enough time to participate if you haven't heard about it yet. So yeah, I don't know, but I think it ends today. Let me double check. I think, or not today, tomorrow. I think it ends the 13th. I have his tweet up, but oh yeah, it says it ends January 13th at midnight. So yeah, you have hopefully enough time to build a tiny house. I know it can take quite a while, especially if you're trying to make something really unique, because you are going to be judged on like layout and complexity and all that kind of stuff. Not sure exactly. I mean, I know people can get really creative. I'm not that creative with tiny houses. I mean, this was my attempt and it's not that tiny. But I do like it. I really like the outdoor areas. I've tried to create some like green rooftops with some patio furniture, and I added a few plants and stuff, just trying to make it look a bit like a rooftop garden. The only thing that I don't like about adding the grass flooring is that it's fake grass, so it never changes with the seasons. I probably could have covered it in some real grass and made it like not the terrain paint grass, but like the just landscaping grass, and maybe it would look a little bit more natural. I don't know. I think it looks okay the way I did it. I think it would be really nice actually if we had a flooring that we could put down that was terrain. So when we did something like this, we could paint on it like it was terrain. That would be super cool, but I don't know if that's possible or if that's something they've ever thought about, but I would really like it. But yeah, I just put a yoga mat up here. I put some planter boxes and some lounge chairs, and then I go through and try to make the hill look as natural as possible. I don't play around with the terrain manipulation that often. I've done it like a couple of times, but it's not something that I'm super comfortable with, but I think it actually turned out really nice. And the reason I don't really do the terrain manipulation that much is because I mostly work on my save file, and I started my save file before this was a feature in the game, and I felt like it would look weird if half of the lots had a bunch of crazy terrain and then half of them didn't. I think I will only have like maybe a couple that have some terrain editing, but mostly it's going to be flat lots. But once I'm finished, I'm definitely excited to maybe play around with this a bit more, or do builds like this every once in a while where I can play around with the terrain editing, because yeah, it's just not something I do a whole lot. But there you probably noticed I did add a front door because I realized I had no way to get into this house, and that definitely doesn't make it very functional. And I somehow deleted the window next to the door, so I do replace that if that's bothering you. But yeah, other than that, I just go through and try to shape the mountain to make it easier to place the rocks. I am of course using the live edit object rocks because we have a ton of them in there, and I use a lot of live edit objects plants. I used mostly the rocks that came with cats and dogs. A lot of the landscaping items that you can find in the debug menu from cats and dogs, they clip into the ground different than the other plants. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's like they're not constricted as much by the grid or by like foundations or the terrain and stuff, that they just kind of sink into the ground a little bit more. So that's why I mostly use those rocks, especially here on the front where it's mostly pretty steep, because it just looked a bit more natural than some of the other rocks. And then I just placed a bunch of trees and bushes, a few flowers, and that's basically it. I don't do any terrain paint because I felt like the terrain was actually really pretty on this lot because it has this natural like fade between the dirt and the grass, especially with the parts that are raised with the hill. You get a bit more of like a brown, darker dirt. So it just looked more natural, and I actually really liked it. And I thought this build was, yeah, just a lot of fun and really enjoyable to do. And I'm really proud of it, actually. I didn't really expect it to look this good. I thought that I would not really like it that much, or I don't know what I was thinking. I was excited about it when I went in to go build it, but I didn't think it was going to work out the way I wanted to. But I just had fun with it and built it all in one sitting, and it was just, I don't know, super fun. But there I replaced the window. I don't know what happened to it. I guess I deleted it when I put in the stairs or the door or something. I'm not sure. Missed that part of it, but yeah, I did want to make a way for your sim to get to the top of the mountain, but I couldn't really figure out a great way. I haven't uploaded this to the gallery yet, so while this is rendering, I will go into my game and make sure the sim can get to everything if anything's moved around. If you decide to download this, then that's because I had to change a few things, but I think everything should work. But maybe I can find a way for them to get up to the top of the hill, because I think that would be kind of cool to sit up there and maybe like paint or something. I really like that idea. But yeah, anyways, here I'm just finishing up some of the landscaping, adding a few more flowers and bushes and various grasses and stuff. I really just tried to make it look natural, and I didn't really have too much of a plan, so I was kind of just placing things where I thought they looked good and tried to make it look the best that I could. But anyways, we are coming up on the screenshots. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, but like I said, I will have SimGuru Frost Twitter linked in the description so you guys can find the contest and see if you want to participate. But thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep